interactions with RP4, but just has struggled to get that set win. And I know it's a similar thing with BW Styles. I know he's done really good against BW Styles too, but just sometimes he just comes a little bit short. And I just know that from what I've heard from Solidus, he's just trying to get that practice in to really get those wins. And we're going to see if we see something new rise. And as we start off, we're not starting with the Link. So I guess he's maybe is confident with just going into this character, even though we saw the Link at the start.
Yeah, and I think also to add to that is that you say RP4 is Solidus' bracket demon, and while I don't disagree, I think Solidus' true bracket demon is Pyra and Mythra. It's not even a player. Solidus definitely struggles a lot with this specific matchup, whether that's because it's a Yoshi thing, or because I know he used to play DK a couple tournaments in a row, and even then, that was still when RP4 was just starting to try out Pyra and Mythra, and it was a problem then. And so I think that for Solidus to do well in this matchup, that's kind of the buttons he's had to flex on his controller is he able to play passive? Is he able to decide when the correct time to throw out an aggressive option is? Is he able to catch on to some of the bad habits that RP4 has? And I know you, as a spectator, you may be able to see them a bit clearer, Santiago, rather than in the moment. But even then, it's always so easy to tell somebody, just do this, especially if you're just giving them advice. And I think a lot of times as a player, both as a spectator and a competitor, both sides kind of forget that when you're playing, you have a much different mindset, and it's hard to kind of stay in that, all right, I gotta keep an open head type of feel. And I know everybody kind of has their panic moments where they have one option that they may spam or decide to use. For me, it's F smash. For others, it may be rollback or air dodge or something else, counter. And right now, we're seeing Solidus kind of get his buttons pushed a bit here as he goes for that grab. He goes for the neutral B, and Pyra's distance with that F tilt, man, so oppressive.
Wow, look at that grab.
Yeah,
that went very far.
Solidus not going for the edge guard either with Nair or anything. Pyra does not have very good horizontal or airspeed. And there it is. You see Solidus again deciding to dash in even though he was already in his initial dash. Not even deciding to box try or take a second to pause. Goes right in for the dash. And that's the reason why he got punished by that Pyra F smash. But
good out-of-shield option.
Yes, great out-of-shield option. And something that Solidus is definitely known for as a Yoshi player in this tournament series is that really good use of his down B resource. It's one of Solidus' favorite kill confirm moves, and as you see, he is going for that up air. He's really trying to get through that shield poke, but I think that RP4 also knows that this is a character that really punishes overly aggressive play, or more so just overcommitment more than anything. It's because we see how at times RP4 will hold shield, probably trying to get that spot dodge as Mythra to get the foresight.
Trying to keep that fear instilled within Solidus. Wow. This is very scary to watch because Solidus is at kill percent right now. And the trade, definitely not really any trade you want to take at that percent, because any attack with Pyra is going to seal the deal.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what we saw here.
Yeah, and definitely, throughout this whole stage, we see Solidus, for some reason, going for these types of trades. He's going for up B's, trying to kind of anticipate, where Pyra will be, right? Goes for the up B again, has to shield that, takes a bunch of shield damage, goes for dash tech, fair, gets tech rolled, rated, and then, again, you see he's trying to go for back through the drop-down platform there at the end, and he gets S-smash for it because of the hurtbox shift, as well as, how big and fast that hitbox is, because while on paper, Yoshi's back air might be a couple frames faster. I'm not exactly sure if that's correct. You can fact check with me. But you also have to keep in mind that you have to move to the position. You have to drop down through platform, which is a couple frames. You have to move left, which is a couple frames. You have to input the input, which is a couple frames. And all of that leads up to a move that is having to now fight against forward smash from Pyra, which is probably about as long as that took. And for Solidus, he needs to kind of realize that, I think, a lot of those interactions where he almost gets the hit or even trades are situations where instead he should be waiting for RP4 to make the decision he was already planning to. Because what's kind of happening, and every time these players have played with Pyra Mythra, is that Solidus seems to go in, get those very close moves, and then barely is unable to get the read because RP4 is a player who knows exactly that you're going to create that option. You're going to go into the attack anyways. And we are seeing a switch both in character and stage. Pokemon Stadium 2, what do you think of this change?
I'm actually very shocked because you mentioned at the beginning of the set that it might not even be that RP4 is just a bracket demon. It's just that Pyra Mythra might be a character demon for Solidus. So I wonder if RP4 just realized, wait a second, there's something I could take advantage of with Link that can really punish Solidus, because only reason I know this is because I've unfortunately been on that recipient end where I've lost to a player in one game and then they switch characters, and I think, why they switch characters? Oh, they did because his character punishes my habits way worse.
Yeah.
Or in a way better way that hurts me. And I noticed that what I was gonna mention a few moments ago was that when that first game was going on, what I noticed that Solidus struggles the most with in the matchup, it seems like, is Pyra, particularly spacing out Pyra's moves, which it's easier said than done. And because there's that spacing issue, I think that Pyra was just able to use her sword to just gain the upper hand in terms of out spacing or just outranging Solidus.
Yeah, I definitely
that
agree.
Unfortunately, it looks like Solidus in this matchup, you just, in simple terms, you just have to run in. It just seems like there's really no other option, and RP4 knows that. He's just kind of jumping back. They know that each one wants to do the opposite. RP4 does not really want to go in. He wants to stay back. Solidus does not want to stay back. He wants to go in.
One alternative I'll kind of give to you here, and this is called the Yoshi exclusive, as I'll call it. Yoshi is the only character in the entire game that cannot be shield poked. And Link, and the way RP4 plays, is entirely around whittling down your shield and forcing you to make these aggressive options. And then whether you get the aggressive option is also up to how well you approach him. So if you have a very poor approach option, like you're just throwing at hitboxes in his face, he's going to punish you and you're going to take even more damage. Whereas if you play as Yoshi and you just stay very passive, you stay away from him, you just keep shielding the moves, and eventually make him decide to approach, you're going to see a much closer game. It's going to be a much slower game, but it's about patience, especially when you have that type of advantage. And like that, now you've been conditioned by RP4, where RP4 knows that you're going for these I'm just going to try and compensate for everything kind of moves, where Solidus goes for the up air, even though it's just not really the best idea. And that's just because he's now kind of gotten Solidus an idea of him needing to approach, whereas that's a false statement. You don't need to approach here. You're okay. It'll be okay, man. And there he does.
Nice coverage. All right, this is basically an even game. There might be about a 50% deficit. You know Yoshi, he could tack on damage just as quickly, but it's just a matter of getting in for those initial hits.
Yeah, and again, like I was kind of talking about, man, nice use of that jump. Yoshi's also so quick in the air, man. If you're Yoshi, you definitely have to be baiting out your opponent, jumping all around him, just running around. Who cares if you're not getting damaged when you can literally just make him think you're gonna be in one area and then you fly away to the other. And Solidus having little bits of instances similar to that, where he's just very aware of his stage presence and kind of shifts up on the fly. However, we're not seeing that completely this game, and it's kind of another reason why, beyond some of the other instances we've seen Solidus kind of down in terms of percent, as to why he's kind of in this large deficit. However, that does not mean he's out, because at any point...
Oh no! He gets hit by the last hit of the up B!
So unfortunate, man. And again, that same hindrance that's been hurting Solidus in the past kind of comes back to bite him a bunch less, though, than I've kind of seen in the past. Is that usually Solidus kind of is unable to kind of keep up in terms of stocks, like once he gets down this far. And it didn't really matter this set. I think that what we've kind of seen, we see him was patient there, got the jab, and unfortunately there tried to compensate with the back air, but Yoshi's back air animation, like at that instance, was just too tall for him to avoid that hit. And that happens. It's something that you just have to keep in the back of your head. And as long as you remember it for next time,